What's going on, everyone from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dane Podolsky, and I'm joined today with shameless Don Shainis. He's set to make his UFC debut on October 1st when he takes on Sodiq Yusuff. Don, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem, man. What's going on?
Not much. And so, just first off, what's it like getting the call to get to the UFC? And second off, you're fighting Sodiq Yusuff. Like if you can pull out the win, you're already in the top 15.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. My life can potentially change in 2 weeks' time. I'm dude. The feeling's so bizarre and weird because I don't know if you're ever ready for the call. I've been ready for the call for like 7, 8 months, and then nothing happened. Nothing happened. I let my foot off the gas just a little bit. Then it's like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, yes, I can. You know. So
Had you been on the UFC's radar before, or was this the first time they even gave you any opportunity to be in the UFC?
I believe I was on their radar for quite some time now. I've had 4 fights in 4 months, starting off with in February for Dana White's looking for a fight. So I got on that card short notice. They needed someone to fight Chris Lencioni, so I took that fight. I jumped at the bit. I think I was on their radar, and then I won the FAC title at 155, and then I won the Cage Shines title at 145. But before the Cage Shines fight, they offered me Damon Jackson, which I accepted, and to fight the same day as my Cage Shines bout. So I was going to scrap the Cage Shines bout to fight in the UFC against Damon Jackson. But I don't know what happened. The fight fell through. He ended up fighting Dan Aguilera from LFA,
Yeah, Dan.
and I think I said his name.
Dan.
Yeah, I might have messed up his name.
Mhm.
But he ended up fighting him. I didn't get the fight, and I was all pissed off and bummed out. But I ended up going back home to fight for the Cage Shines 145 belt, and I won in the first round. So, I mean, worst case scenario, I still had a fight. You know.
And so, like, talking about that, because Sadiq Youssef's a guy who's only fought 3 times since the start of 2020. Your guy mentioned this will be your fifth fight in 2022. Do you think that's something that's going to give you an advantage here?
Hey man, I'm super. When I'm healthy, I'm super active. So I don't think anyone knows this, but in 2018, I broke my neck, put me back a year. So in 2019, I had to come back, and I had to come back with vengeance. I was on a 4 fight win streak. I was set to fight for the Cage 145 title back then. It got canceled due to the pandemic. Nothing I could do about that. And then the pandemic messed everything up for me, where I couldn't get a fight for a year and a half. So it's like off those 2.5 years, like when my comebacks have been fucking aggressive.
Mhm.
So this is gonna be my fifth fight, and I want a sixth by the end of the year.
And you mentioned you broke your neck. What happened there? Was it a career
Uh,
running
my
type
neck
thing?
broke. I fought with it broken. I didn't know, and I ended up having surgery, but it ended up putting me back a year of competing. So I broke my neck in April of 2018, and I made my return of April 2019.
Fair enough. And so for this fight, you're only gonna have about 3 weeks, whereas Yusuf's been training for a while. I know you've been super active this year, but like the fact that it's a short notice fight, how does that affect the game plan for you?
Shit ain't shit, man. I fought back to back to back to back. Um, if anything, it helps me. He was preparing for Giga, which is a super technical kickboxer. I'm completely different. So let's throw the kitchen sink at him and figure this shit out.
Have you gotten to watch any of Yusuf's previous fights, and what do you think gives you the advantage over him?
I mean, I've seen him compete before. I know he's good. I know he's a really crisp striker. Um, really clean, really fast, really athletic. Uh, looks strong. But I mean, watching someone fight and getting in there, I'm less worried about what he's going to do and more focused on what I'm going to do.
And so I don't know if you pay attention to the betting odds at all, but you're in the range of plus 600 for this fight,
Oh, fuck
which
yeah, dude. I'm a huge dog, dude. I'm going to make someone rich and I'm going to ruin a lot of fucking parlays.
I was just saying, does that motivate you at all? And does it, in a way, take the pressure off because no one's really expecting you to win this fight?
I mean, no one knows me. Why would they expect me to win this fight? They've seen Sadiq, compete from the contender series to, getting up there in the top 15 of the featherweight division. So he like people forget it's still a fight. Anything can happen. I've seen crazy things in this sport. Crazy things. You kidding me? Hey, tell me you haven't.
No, 100%. I think one thing I always think back to with the short nose fights, Alexander Hernandez versus Beneil Dariush. Alexander
Mhm.
Hernandez UFC debut, massive underdog, sparked Beneil Dariush in about 40 seconds. So I always think about anytime short notice guy comes in, fights, I guess, a ranked guy like Sodiq Yusuff in the situation you're in, there's always, the chance that anything could happen.
Dude, of course anything can happen, and people are pretending like, or I just don't think people know me. I'm a New England guy. I made the move out to Missouri to train. I fought a couple times in the Midwest. I just don't think, everyone that's created these odds know who I am as a person. Because if you see me fight, I think this fight's a lot better of a matchup in my favor as far as, you know, striker versus grappler. Everyone like I've I just kind of like clicked on a couple YouTube links and people are calling me a striker. And I'm like, oh, they just haven't seen me fight and they're just going based off my record. But people just don't know, and I get to show who I am October 1st.
And so, as an unknown, I guess, what do you want fans to know about you?
Bro, I just want people to see me fight. I want to have exciting, crazy fights. I want to get my hand raised. I want to come out of fucking left field and get and be a dog and win. People think everything's X's and O's and paper matters. And it's a fight. Nothing matters. Like people forget that. Like nothing matters.
And so I'll ask too, because I'm from New England. The New England MMA scene has been growing one. You got guys like Calvin Cater, Rob Font, the list goes on and on.
Mhm.
You're from Easton, right?
Easton Mass, yeah.
Easton, Mass. And I saw from your Tapology you attended Bridgewater State. Is that correct?
I did, yeah. I spent too much time at Bridgewater State.
And fair enough. And so seeing other guys from New England, it's a growing MMA scene right now. What does it say to you to be part of that next sort of group of guys on the rise from New England?
I feel like I've been here for a while now, yeah, just keep putting in the work and good things will happen if you just don't quit. Like uh, for the next group of guys, yeah, just believe in yourself. Like like as cliche as that is, it's like I didn't get here because I didn't believe. You know what I mean? Like I got here because I believed I could get here. I believe I belong in the UFC. I believe all these things, and I don't need to convince anyone of anything as long as I've convinced myself and I truly believe it.
At this point, so you're at Glory MMA, which is in Missouri.
Yeah.
Do you feel more like you're the guy from Missouri or still the New England fighter?
Bro. I mean, training here and being welcome in this room is something else. But I'm just taking it stride by stride. I'm not looking at it like I'm from anywhere. You know, from Mars if you want to think about it, dude. I like just where you're from is where you're from, but like where you train is where you train. Like I don't think any of that matters.
Mhm. Fair enough. I usually get a wide range of answers. Like a lot of times, the international guys will say like, where I'm from. It's huge to me. So it sounds like not the case with you. But you're training at Glory MMA, head coach
Yeah.
James Crouch, James Krause. How much has he helped you?
Bro, it's unbelievable. He's helped me in ways that I can't even describe. Like he's helped me make money. He's helped me, as far as training goes. He's found me a place to stay. Like he's given me all the tools to use his gym as the number one resource and the most important resource for training. He has a room of 50 guys every morning on the mats, day in, day out, grinding. Like 20 guys in the UFC, me being the next one. And when I first got there, he was like, all right, cool, yeah. I don't know if he thought anything of it, but he helped me make money. He found me a place to stay. Like how can I like how you know what I mean? Like people just don't do that for one another anymore, and I'm super grateful for it.
And so I want to ask about a few guys who also train James Krause. David
Yeah,
Abdal, he's one. Have you gotten to work with him at all?
dude, all the time.
Hmm.
All the time. I think David Onama is a better version of Sadiq Yusuff.
Hmm.
Like straight up, I think he's bigger, longer, and a better grappler. And I think his striking's just as good, if not better.
Another one I'll throw out there is Trey Ogden. Have you gotten to work with him? He picked up a big
Dude,
win this weekend.
I, I dude, I work with these guys all the time. Trey fought last weekend.
Mhm.
He was another huge underdog that want to say pull off the upset, but he was no underdog in that fight. If you watch the fight, he won through and through.
Mhm. And then the third one I'll put out there, Grant Dawson. He's at 55. Have you got any
Yo,
word
great.
on him?
Training with guys like Grant. Like Grant no longer trains at Glory. He's out at ATT now. But like realizing that like there's guys like Grant that compete at 55 makes me remember why I'm a 45er. It's a frame thing. Grant's just so good,
Mhm.
so good.
And so I did want to ask too, because you fought at 55 and
Mhm.
45, you've won belts at both. You're not the biggest guy in the long run.
No,
In the long run, where do you see yourself?
45, 45 for sure. You know, um, I think me fighting at 55 regionally is fine because my skill set's gonna take care of that. But I don't think it's a skill or strength or technique thing. I think it's a frame issue when you get to the highest level. You're fighting guys that are physically way bigger than you. Like there's nothing that you could do about that when you're fighting a middle linebacker at lightweight. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I know that, like, I always think about like Frank Yeager, but not everyone can be Frank Yeager and be that undersized. Do
Frank
you,
Yeager's Frank Yeager.
do you cut a lot of weight to make 45?
This fight I will be, yes.
Okay.
But generally speaking, no. When I have enough notice, when I have a month's notice and I'm in shape, um, I cut about 15.
Mhm. Could you see yourself fighting at 35 down the road?
That's a talk between me, my nutritionist, and my coach, and obviously how I do at 45. It's not like I'm going to be facing a bum or someone in their UFC debut. I'm making my UFC debut against a stud, and I got nothing to lose, so fuck it. But it's like that's a talk to when I get to the highest of levels.
And so I think just my final question for you, you've said best, you have nothing to lose. No one expects you to win this fight in a way from massive underdog taking on the ranked opponent. Don Shainis versus Sodiq Yusuff. Give me your official prediction.
I feel like I grind out. I feel like I either
Mhm.
grind out a decision. It's gonna be a dogfight, or I TKO him ground and pound.
Mhm.
That like I think if I'm able to get him to the ground, I don't think he's gonna have any answer for my ground and pound. Or
Mhm.
if that doesn't happen, I think I grind out a decision. But I know the keys to victory is me making this a dogfight.
Fair enough. Don, best of luck to you. Guys,
Hey, thank you so much.
Shameless Don Shainis will make his UFC debut on October 1st when he takes on Sadiq Yusuff. That should be a fantastic fight. Don, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.